welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our manga for today is Fire Force Omnibus 1 by Soshi Ohakobo and published by Kodansha. Now, there is violence, fighting, destruction, fire, death, killing, more fire, a lot of fucking fire, and a bit of nudity in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here I'll put the translator and everything else. So, this is the first manga I read for 2026, called Fire Force, which I've actually heard of this one. Well, not heard of, but I've seen it around on the manga channels a couple of times. I say manga channels, only on Manga Hoarder's channel. But I did wonder what it was about exactly. I had no idea. And then last year I just ended up buying this Omnibus version. Not sure what exactly compelled me. But I did. And I started this in December of last year. And finally finished it today. Also apparently this is the creator of Soul Eater. Which I did see. I know it's like this... a demon teenager or something. I've just seen images of it, but I've never read it or saw the anime even. Yes, and this also has an anime, I know. Alright, so let's start with Fire Force. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I first kind of thought it was just stories of, I don't know, firefighters. Even though based on this cover, you think that's a bit weird that there's fire coming out of his feet. And oh boy, what did I discover. So, in the world of Fire Force, there is spontaneous human combustion. And it seems to have started, I don't know, I dropped my pen. I don't know, maybe like 90 years ago or something, because there's like already 3 generations that have went through that. So yeah, maybe like, you know, something like that. No one knows what causes it, but humans just, well, spontaneously combust, and they don't just explode and that's it, they become demons, kind of like fire demons, and they of course start going crazy all around. And they need to be extinguished. So in this world, there are the Fire Force. There are also regular firefighters, but they are special firefighters. There's 8 companies, and they each send troops. They have second generation fire soldiers who are, they can manipulate fire or control it in some way. And then you have 3rd generation ones that are able to produce it and do all these things, like our main character here, Shannara. So that's what's going on in the world. You have these companies and no one knows what is causing the spontaneous human combustion. And they are trying to find out. So you have fire soldiers joining, and what essentially is, I mean, they are extinguishing these poor souls because you can't help them. But as it says in the manga, it's essentially murder. Because what else can they do? I suppose it's like, I'll be in a way like if you do have a zombie apocalypse and people you know, or people around the community turn. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't keep them around next to you because they could infect someone else and they want to eat you. So you don't really have a choice in that, do you? It's your survival against theirs. So, we focus, we focus mainly here on Shannara. He was He's 17 years old, which I was surprised. I thought he was a little bit older, at least 20. So yeah, we focus on Shinara. The manga starts with him going to the train station to, well, at first I thought he was, I don't know, going to school or something, because of the uniform he wore. But he basically comes across a spontaneous human combustion, and Company 8 arrives to the scene to take care of it. And then he saves their nun, Iris, and then we learn that he's actually came over to join them. Now, Shinara has quite the story. When he was a young kid, I don't know, about 5 maybe? 5, 4? No, I think he was a little older, because he's 17, and the fire was 12 years ago. So yeah, maybe a little older than that. His mother and baby brother, Sho, were consumed by a fire, which people blame him for. They call him the Devil's Footprints because his firepower comes out of his feet. And so he leaves burned footprints. That's why he's called that. And his goal, ever since he was a kid, he wanted to be a hero. And now even more so, he wants to solve what causes spontaneous human combustion. And also to find out what happened to his mother and brother. He knows they died in a fire, but he wants to know what caused it, because he remembers seeing one of these fire demon things that night. And his mother yelling at him to run. So he didn't cause that fire that time, then what did? And so that's his goal. He joins Company 8, who's this new company that just been kind of formed. And it seems very hastily because they don't have a forensics team. And the cathedral they are in is quite breaking down, it seems. And then you got his Captain Obi and the lieutenant, and then you got another fire soldier lady, and you got their nun. The nun is there to pray for the souls as they extinguish, or as Captain Obi says, in reality, we murder these people. Because what else are you going to do? And so begins, Shinara that joins in, and then another is just a regular soldier for now. And then another one that was in the academy, Arthur, joins in as well. And that makes up the team. And Arthur is stupid. And he also has delusions of being a knight. That he's, Arthur or something. I feel it's a bit much to make him both stupid and delusional. Legitimately, much later on in the story, he's fighting this dangerous... They're called Infernos. I forgot to say, not fire demons. He fights a dangerous Infernal who's a murderer, who's about to be sentenced, and he forgets that he hasn't been holding... He uses a sword with, plasma. That's how strong the heat is. And he doesn't realize till almost the end of the fight that he's not holding it in the correct hand.
You are made of stupid.
And it almost cost him his life. And he's like, oh, I'm not holding it in the wrong hand. I feel like it's too dangerous to be this stupid. Especially in this sort of situation. I mean, my God. How do you forget that you're holding your sword in the wrong hand? Because the fire isn't as strong from that. I guess it's concentrated mainly in his right hand, fair enough. But it's just amazing, and I thought maybe he's not strong enough to beat this guy. No, it's just stupid. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, the Shinara throughout... Because this is an omnibus, so they're the first 3 volumes. I feel like I need to stop getting these because they're a double-edged sword. On one hand, if you really like it, cool, you got more, but I feel like it's just a bit much, even though I really enjoyed this one. Just too much of, the same thing, because it's almost 600 pages. Anyway, So they continue, later on, their captain Obi tells Shannara that the real reason that Company 8 was put together was to investigate, because he suspects that other companies, because there's other companies, one of them is, based in the church, another is based in these industries, and then I think other ones in something else. They basically get people from 3 different places. The church, this industry, Hijima something industries, and the military. And the other companies, they mainly have recruits from one of these 3 places. So in the case of Company 8, they have recruits from multiple ones. So, and they were put together in order to study what causes it. Now, one of the missions, they have to go to the house of this young girl. Her mother died from spontaneous human combustion. She lost her to that, and her dad turns as well, unfortunately. And they go, and that's where they come across, or not yet, but we see a new character called the Joker. So it looks like indeed someone is causing trouble, but is this guy behind the spontaneous human combustion? Shannara ends up fighting him in a tournament for the rookies to join the companies. And since he impresses him, the Joker tells him that his brother, Sho, isn't dead. He's alive. Somewhere out there. And, obviously Shannara is shocked because he thought he lost his brother too that day. But looks like no, he's alive. Shannara also comes across a captain from the captain of Company 1, who is a firefighter that actually came over to his house that fateful night. But he seems to not want to tell Shannara, and almost pretends that he, doesn't know him, and tells him, there's many fires that I've dealt with. Because again, this was 12 years ago, fair enough, but still. You must know something, right? You're hiding it. And it looks like he lost an eye sometimes in these 12 years. Because he has an eye patch. So as they keep investigating things, I wonder if you can hear, it's really raining. So they keep investigating. They end up with the captain of Company 5, who used to be a nun like Iris. She was in the same nunnery, but she, unfortunately, all the girls there were orphans, and a fire started there too. They all combusted, except Iris and Hinaba. Hinaba? And anyway, but after that, she became really cynical and decided that the only way to, progress in this world and do something is through gaining power and money. Essentially kind of lost her way, and then Iris goes to talk to her, and, because they probably have information. That infernal murderer that I told you about, Company 5 ends up capturing him, basically after Shannara almost kills him, in order to experiment on him, which is something that Hinaba, I think her name is, Captain Hinaba would do. She's a very good scientist. And so they need that information. So they go to stage something against Company 5 in order to get this information, but they end up having to go sooner because Iris is gone. Because Captain Obi had a plan. Well, anyway, Shannara beats the daylights out of her. Even though she thinks she can easily defeat her. She is powerful. But he ends up punching her, then she comes back to her senses. Well, what do you know? Violence can solve things. Fuck talking to your therapist. Just tell him to punch you in the face real hard. Maybe he'll reset you. I mean, it worked here. Hey, he's very fucking creepy and almost nuts. And one punch from Shannara and she's like, well, she's better now. And she also falls in love with him. I don't know how old she is. I think she's a few years older than the kids, maybe 20-something. But anyway, after all that, she agrees to help because she and them have the same goal. She also wants to find out what causes this, and she wants to find out who caused that fire in the nunnery. You know, whoever's behind spontaneous human combustion, and whoever it is, they're going to suffer her wrath for killing all of her sisters. So that's it. They're going to work together. Now, what they decide to do next is they need access to the jurisdictions of Company 1. They can't go in there, and they need a way in, and what they do is there's sometimes, like, the companies invite other companies for training sessions for a month. So Shinara and Arthur are sent, Captain Hinaba sends a soldier from hers, Company 2 sends another soldier. She sends one so it wouldn't look suspicious. So they get in there, Shinara, they all meet the captain. Shinara's like, I want to show you what I can do, and if I get a hit in, you have to answer a question. And just him, Arthur, and the kid from Company 2 end up fighting, but the captain of Company 1, his name is Burns, he defeats Arthur very easily, and also Shinara. He is very, very powerful. Now, you got his 3 lieutenants, and after this, fight where Shinara realizes he still has a long way to go, one of them, we can't tell who, is talking in a payphone, talking about how they're going to continue, and that, they're going to have to be more careful now that these 2 soldiers from Company 8 are here. It looks like Captain Burns has a clue at what's going on here, because he says way before that Obi has made his move. Oh, what's impressive about Captain Obi is he doesn't have, he's not a second generation and not a third. He's just a regular guy that's, very well built. He's a regular firefighter, so I'd say among all of them, he is the bravest, because he has no protection against the fire whatsoever, except the suit he wears. He's basically more fucked than all of them. So you gotta respect him. Right, where was I? Yeah, so whoever this, I think it's one of the lieutenants. There's one that uses his powers, the second generation, so he can convert the fire to sound, or to wind, actually, and then into cold. Kind of like he explains how air conditions work. And so he's very impressive, and then you have the other ones. But anyway, one of these 3, I believe, is doing that, and then suddenly, 5 days into them being in this training ground, in Company 1, there's a real alarm of an inferno. Multiple of them at the same time. And one of these lieutenants, the one that can use heat, like how I said, is telling them this has happened before. And they go to the place. Shinara and Arthur, because the soldiers that came in for training are split between the lieutenants. And so Shinara and Arthur go with this one, and he tells them, okay, you 2 just stand here and watch. We have our own system, and they have a very well-oiled one. And he tells them, you 2 just watch, and and learn. And he tells the soldiers, okay, we have 2 kids from Company 8. Don't embarrass me. Or don't do anything embarrassing. And as they're watching them deal with the infernals and get people away from the danger, Shinara, who apparently has very good vision, sees a man in an alley, and someone with the same garb of a lieutenant releasing a bug then turns him into a infernal. And Shannara's like, and he starts running, and Arthur catches up with him, and he keeps running, and Arthur's like, wait, what about this infernal? And Shannara's like, well, we'll have to leave him to Company 1, come on. And he runs, through that alley, gets there, and right there are the lieutenant that can use fire to make it into wind and then ice. And he wears headphones, I'll just say that. And then the other one who is overly enthusiastic. I forget their names, I'm sorry. And they are there, and Shannara's like, the one with the headphones says, I told you to stand there and watch, and the other one, over-enthusiastic one, says, what, Shannara, have you found the infernal? And that's it. That was already in Volume 3, and that's where the Omnibus, that's where the Omnibus ends. Alright, now for cover. I do like the cover here. You see we got Shannara. Sorry it's like this, I just didn't think it would fit on my, I usually put like comics or manga or books. You see? There's Shannara there. They have on their uniforms like these blue stripes, especially so they could be seen in the fire. And there is Shannara with his legs. He has short pants, obviously, and sandals, because he uses... There's Arthur over there. He really is stupid. And this is Iris. Over here, the nun, she's 16. Okay. The art. I'm so sorry. I didn't show you the art. I don't know when this manga came out. Oh, fuck. I'm on. I think it's, obviously not recently, but maybe like in the last 20 years, I imagine. You see, that's him. That's the lieutenant over there. There's Iris. Oh, another big thing about Shannara that I forgot to mention. He has this habit because of the trauma he went through as a kid. When he's very nervous, he has this creepy smile on. He can't control it. It's just, after what happened to him, that's just how he reacts. And people get scared of that smile, but he doesn't mean anything evil by it. He just really can't help it. You see? When he's nervous, he just smiles. So the art style is very good. There's some, a lot of distinction here. The Captain Hinaba lady, her irises are in the shape of flowers. In the eye, like the black part, and it's just... I thought that was just funny, because... Oh, fuck, and it also makes her look a bit more crazy. Oh, and that overly enthusiastic lieutenant from Company 1. He also has his irises are, you see, like here, their eyes, that's normal. He has, stars instead. That's a nice little detail there. Certainly is. And this is Maki. By the way, the other, she's not a lieutenant, but she's a soldier too. She's from the military. Yeah, so that's why Shannara smiles. Actually, when the Joker threatens, he's got him, he's gonna kill him, Shannara gives a really fucking creepy smile, and it has an effect on the Joker. Like, he's impressed that he's smiling in this situation. Alright, now for the story. So, this is really cool. I like the concept. Again, I kind of thought it might just be firefighter stories, but this is just fucking awesome. You got this mystery to solve, and you got these powers and what's causing them. And later on, what caused people to be born with, these abilities, really. As you gotta wonder. Another interesting thing about Shannara is his father is not mentioned at all, so I wonder, does he and Sho have different fathers? Because Shannara is, like I said, 6 or a little older, and Sho is just a baby. Like, I think Sho was maybe close to a year old. So who did his mother have the 2 boys with? If a father's never mentioned. As I think Shannara grew up probably in an orphanage or something. So it's also a curious thing. I wonder if it's ever mentioned or it's, not really an important part to the story. Or then they have kids, because, again, who did they have kids with? What's really going on? What happened 12 years ago? Who actually killed Shannara's mom and who took his brother away? Someone did. Who was it? And is it the same person that's responsible for killing his mother? That's left to be found out. But yeah, just the whole world here is really cool. And they have here, they don't pray to God, they pray to the God of Flame. Or just something like that. Like, they have their religion, but it's based around fire, really. And they also have, their prayer word, kind of like Amen. It just is like that. They say Lotum. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm sorry, I forgot to say, I probably butchered the creator's name. My bad. Well, I didn't mention, but, now, I'm pretty sure he's the one that does the art and the story, too. Because usually if there's a writer and artist that are different, then has the artist as well here. But anyway, yeah, this has been a really great read. It's really interesting. There are those funny moments, but they're not too bad. I could get along with them. I did really enjoy this. I really like Shannara. I think he's quite the boy. Yeah, he should, after what he went through, wanting to be a hero. Even though people view him as a devil because of what happened, they think he's the one responsible. Although he does have a grandma, but I don't know if she took him in after. It didn't seem like she wanted to, and yeah, just see how all these people just immediately assume he's done it. And just, would be afraid of him, not even try to help him. Even though, are you 100% certain? And even if he did it, would you blame a little boy? He most likely didn't know what he did. Maybe his power just went up like that. Does it give him later, these weird metal shoes to walk in after it happens? And it's wouldn't it be better to try to teach him to use his powers instead? I don't think that's going to help. But yes, it's left to be seen who's behind all of this and what do they want. What are they going to do? Yeah, I love this one. Definitely in the future I'm going to get the next volumes slowly and read through them. As, oh boy, is this interesting. It really is. Alright, folks, that's all I had to say. I highly recommend this one if you've ever heard about it. You like manga with with a lot of action, fighting, and you don't mind the fire. Because this was just awesome. Really, really awesome. Alright, folks, let's see. I think I mentioned everything. Maybe I was a little all over the place. It's been a while since I filmed a video about a manga. And I mentioned it's a bloody omnibus. Alright, folks, so that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!